Okay. Yang lain macam mana? Sihat? Okay?
Sihat, dokter.
Amira, okay? Anis, okay? Arifah? Good, eh?
Okay, Prof.
Great. Hanya Chris saja yang dekat hostel kan? Yang lain semua dekat rumah kan?
Hmm.
Ada siapa lagi yang masih dalam UTM? Besides Chris, anyone else that's still in UTM? Tak ada kan?
Tak ada.
Okay lah, tak ada, selamat lah. Okay. Alright, so it's 8:02, right? There are a couple of things I want to discuss today, but I don't want to discuss now. I don't want to discuss before we start our class. But there are only 12 or 13, 11 of you. So kita discuss before we end our class. I'm going to talk about when we're going to have our test 2. We're going to discuss this and then never mind. We'll discuss this later. So let's start with, we're going to talk about forecasting today. Forecasting, let me share the slide for forecasting. Dah ready ya? Today is it your first class after your Raya break?
No, second class, dokter. For me.
Second class, eh? Chris, all the meal provided, is it now?
Yesterday they provide the meal.
It's provided, okay. Okay. Okay, we'll start lah. I can do it for start nak tunggu lagi lah.
Alright, dokter.
Okay, how many of
Don't
you?
forget to record.
Yeah, I will. So let me share the slide first. And then, what appears on your screen now should be a chapter called Forecasting Part 1, right?
Yes, dokter. Part 1.
Alright, okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn
Recording
the camera off.
and do recording.
If not, our file that the recordings, file that we recorded, what I try to say, the file of our recorded video will be too big. Okay. So okay, I start recording. So this is chapter 9, part 1, forecasting. So to have a very quick recap, what we have done so far until today. Today's supposed to be week 9, I think so. We have done most of the topics. So there are only 3 topics or 3 chapter or topic left, which are forecasting, decisions making or decision analysis, and queuing theory or queuing analysis. So we're going to get this done well in another 2 weeks. All right. So 3 weeks, including this week, we're going to get all these 3 chapters covered. Okay. And for forecasting, we split into two parts. Today we're going to talk about part 1. Today we're going to talk about part 1. Part 1 is talking about developing a model for forecasting. So it's talking about develop a model for forecasting. Develop models for forecasting. And the model that we're going to discuss in part 1 means today, there are 4 models that we're going to discuss. So we're going to discuss 4 models that use for forecasting. Yes, correct, exactly. 4 models that could be used for forecasting. Then subsequently, next week, we're going to talk about part 2 of forecasting. And part 2, since we discussed 4 models, we're going to compare these 4 models in terms of the accuracy of forecasting. Accuracy of the forecasting. So part two is relatively, I would say, more straightforward and only spend maybe half of the, maybe 1 hour. We can get this done. But part one slightly, we need to cover 4 models. So this is overall about forecasting. Dual parts. The first part today, we're going to learn how to develop 4 models for forecasting, and then next week we'll talk about accuracy of the forecasting. All right. Sebenarnya kan, in fact, you already learn forecasting or predicting sebelum you ambil, before you enroll into management science. In fact, you already learn forecasting. Some of you might learn all the 3 methods that I'm going to explain to you. Some of you might only learn 2. So, I think ada yang antara kamu ini, I think some of you might enroll in my business tech class. Chris, I think you were in my class, right?
Yes, Doctor.
Business tech, do you remember what was the last chapter? Oh, a big challenge for you, Chris. What was the last chapter for business tech? Anyone can remember?
I forgot,
You
Doctor.
don't remember that?
I don't remember.
The last chapter for business tech basically is multiple regression. Multiple regression.
Mm.
And this multiple regression basically, wow, why?
Be
Multiple
careful.
regression basically, we talk about how to do predictions. We learned in last chapter of business statistics with the topics of linear multiple regressions. We apply this multiple regression to do predictions. Kalau masih ingat, whoever that in my class, right? The example that I discussed in business statistics was I use the factors such as how long you sleep per day, how long you sleep per day. I use a factor such as how long you spend to study per day. I use how many meals you take per day. I use the factor of how many girlfriend or boyfriend that you have in order to predict your CGPA. Mean if I ask Chris how many hours you sleep per day, how many hours you spend to study per day, how many meals you take per day, and how many girlfriend that Chris still engage with Chris. So by knowing these 4 factors, I can use multiple regression to predict your CGPA. Briefly, can you recall what I explained in business statistics, Chris?
Yes, Doctor.
Yeah, good. I don't know whether it is a true yes or maybe just for a yes. Yeah. So this is also a prediction.
Mm.
It's sort of like forecasting. I try to forecast the CGPA. So the characteristic of this multiple regression basically, I use multiple factor. I use more than one factor. More than one factor to predict one item or one interest or to predict CGPA. So this is the first method of forecasting or prediction that you have learned in business statistics. So the second method you also learn in research methodology. Have you enrolled in research methodology this semester or last semester?
Last semester.
In research methodology, you learn a method called qualitative. And perhaps you use experts' opinion, or use their few methods, whatever lah. Okay, you use interviews. Okay, so example Multiple regression basically fundamentally is only a prediction model that when you have numerical number, how many girlfriend you have, 2 or 3 or 4, how many hours a numerical number, then we use multiple regression. But in research methodology, you learn another method. When you want to predict something, you want to predict, forecast and predict, they carry the same meaning. When you want to predict something without data, example, I want to predict who will be our next prime minister. I don't have any data. I can't sort of like work out a regression model to predict who will be our next prime minister. So in this particular example, who will be our next prime minister, that we predict by using a qualitative method. You can ask expert for the opinion, interview them. This is the second method that you have learned for forecasting or predicting. Okay, the third method, any one of you enroll business statistics class that's owned by Dr. PM Dr. Siti Rama. Any one of you? I think should be section 2. Any one of you, or section 1 or section 2, I can't remember. Section 2 should be. Any one of you took business statistics under Dr. Siti Rama? None. If yes, perhaps doing your business statistics, you have been explored to a chapter called forecasting method. Okay. Then this forecasting method supposed to be covered in management science. Okay, but some of you might already have the basic exposure in business statistics. Sepatutnya not in business statistics lah. Sepatutnya tak ada. Sepatutnya be in management science. So the third method is we're going to forecast using history data. What do I mean? What do I mean by this? Example. What's management science? Management science is approach for decision making, like decision making. So example, I want to make a decision in terms of to forecast. Today's May, right? May. I want to forecast June. Order quantity for June. What would be my order quantity for June? Why I need to know the order quantity for June? By knowing the order quantity of June, I can make a decision in terms of the amount of material that I should prepare for June, the number of operators that I should prepare for month of June, and also the machine that I should get it ready for the month of June. So I need to make a decision on how many material I need to purchase, how many operators that I need to keep, and how many machines that I need to prepare to run. So therefore, I need to do forecasting. And this type of forecasting, we are not going to use multiple regression. We are not going to use qualitative. We're going to use one method that we use a history data. Maksudnya, example, I want to know the order quantity for June. I use the actual demands in May. Example, demand in May is 850. Demand in April is, example, 780. Then demands in March was, example, 800. I use this history data to do a predictions of forecasting
Oh,
for
predictive ya dokter ya.
the order for subsequent month, for month of June. And this method, because this data is arranged according to time. It could be every month, it could be every day, it could be every week, it could be every year. Therefore, this data are arranged according to a fixed interval according to time. Okay, fixed interval like every month, every day, every week, every year. Therefore, this method we call as time series method. because this data is arranged in time series method. So in management science, we are going to use time series method to do forecasting. Why we're not using qualitative? Sound very, I don't say funny, but funny. Sound very funny lah. That example, I want to predict June. I want to forecast June order. And if I apply qualitative method, means what? I'm going to ask expert. No? I'm going to ask expert. What do you think next month order? That sounds very funny because you have the data. Why don't you use the data? So you don't use research methodology. But why you don't use linear multiple regression? There are two reasons. Number one is multiple regression most of the time is applied when we are involved more than one factor. So in decision making in the setting of operation that we want to make the decision fast. So we're not going to consider other factor. We only consider one factor. The factor is the history data. So we're only going to use one factor. So we're not going to use multiple regression. No doubt, regression also can use one factor. But there's another reason we don't use regression because linear. This might not linear. The trend might not linear. So therefore, the long explanation that I've done from 8 o'clock until now, around 15 minutes, basically I'm going to tell you that number one, there are three forecasting methods, okay, which is multiple regressions. You can use multiple regression to predict. That's what we have done in business statistics. You can use qualitative method to predict an event, okay, which is in the case that you do have the data. Okay, the example given early on was who will be our next prime minister, okay, and then as far as this class is concerned, in management side, the decision making more on the business setting, right? Business setting, what we want to forecast, most of the time we want to forecast the order, or forecasting talk about order. So the best way of forecasting order is to using a method called time series method. Time series means we make use of a series of data that arrange or gather according to a fixed interval of the time, either it's month, day, week, or year. Okay, sampai sini faham tak? Panjang cerita, faham tak?
Paham doktor.
Faham tak? Chris faham yang lain, faham tak? Sebab saya cerita dia awal-awal pukul 8, cerita teori begitu lama, panjang.
Only 19 minutes doktor.
Okay,
Not
yang
so
lain? Arifah,
long.
okay?
Only 17 minutes doktor. It's not too long doktor.
Okay, doktor.
Okay, faham, okay. Siapa iaitu Zafira, okay.
Okay tak?
Okay, doktor.
Okay,
Okay,
good.
doktor.
So whatever that I discussed in the first 15 or 16 or 17 minutes basically is in the slide. But it's quite boring if we look at the slide explain one by one. So I was telling you that you dah belajar regression dekat statistik. Most of you belajar dengan saya. Then you also have learned qualitative method in research methodology. But in management science, we're going to use time series methods that some of you might have gathered or might have gained fundamental knowledge of this time series method in business statistics. Sebenarnya dia tak patut ada kat business statistics. Okay, so we're going to use time series method. So what is time series method? Oh, there's one thing that I forgotten to mention to you. So time series method that they're one factor, definitely one factor. Another thing that if you want to use time series methods, there's one assumption that you must make. We have to make assumptions that whatever happened or occurred in the past will continue happening in the future. So that is what we have to assume if you want to use time series method. Apa yang dah berlaku sebelum ini, dia akan continue occurring in the future. So it's also in the slide. So the time series method that we're going to use in management science basically use history data. History data dia bukan susah sangat, maksudnya order actual demand sebelum ini lah. Then we believe whatever, or you must assume that whatever that occur in the past will continue to occur in the future lah. And it's one factor. Okay, dah. So dua slide. Teori ini saya dah explain dekat slide yang pertama ini lah. So by saying so, we can start move into the four method. Remember I told you, I told you there are four methods that we're going to discuss today. So let's start discussing this four method one by one. And what are these method? These are the four model or method that you can use or you could use to do forecasting. Okay. Not very, the first two not very difficult, in fact quite straightforward. So the number one is talk about moving average. What is moving average? Moving average is a very easy or straightforward, I don't say easy, straightforward concept. Should I use back this one? Oh no, like it's a bit messy. Never mind, I just write. The slide was plain, but I not really like to refer to slide sometimes. Slide like that. May, April, March, maybe February and January. Example, I have the forecast for January, then February because shortened month, then I have March example, and then I have April example, and then May because MCO, then 800. Okay, example. What are these numbers? These are so-called the time series data. Basically, this is the history data of the actual demands. When I say actual demand mean order yang sebenar yang company ni terima, actual demand lah. Not forecast lah, actual demand. So we talk about moving average. Moving average is lay on the basis of we believe that what happened in the past will continue happen in the future with a similar trend. So the first thing that we need to decide, kita tengah discuss method satu the first thing we need to decide for moving average is how many months? What do you mean by how many months? How many months?
3, 4, 5.
How many? In this case, it's month. If this is day, it could be day, it could be year, it could be week. How many months? How many months? Me, I need to decide. If I want to calculate moving average, I can use 3-month moving average. I can use 5-month moving average. If I use moving average of 3 months, I decide 3 months. Then, the order for June will be the last 3-month order divided by 3. Easy, like 850 plus 900 plus 800 divided by 3. So I will get 850, which is the order for June. I will predict if I use moving average with 3 months moving average, if I use 3-month moving average, then the forecast for month of June will be equal to 850. How I get this number? Sebab saya dah kata 3 months, so I use the past 3 month data and then I average up, then I get the number. If I use 5 months, then it's equal to 800 plus 750 plus 850 plus 900 plus 800
Very
divided
simple,
by 5.
Doctor, yeah.
Why? Because I choose 5 months, so I use 5 data. 5 data. Okay. So that is what moving average. Okay. And how many months that you need to choose to do the predictions or forecasting? You need to do a lot of study, try and error to find out which number or which months will give a more accurate forecasting or prediction. This can be applied by using what we want to learn next week, the accuracy. So far, the basic idea was moving average. This is moving average, yeah? Simple, right?
Yes, doctor. Very simple.
Okay. Simple, okay. So this moving average use value from the recent past to develop forecasting, okay? Okay. Dampen random increase and increase. Basically, moving average is usually March. If I plot a simple graph here, March, April, and May, then this will be March, April, and May. Up and down. So moving average is smoothen or dampens the data and predicts, okay, should be 850. This is the concept of moving average. Huh? Okay, it's only so like very useful or applicable if the order or the demand is stable. If not stable, if the previous demand is not so stable, perhaps you can't use moving average. Huh? Okay, this is a formula for moving average. In mathematics or statistics, kadang-kadang formula itu menakutkan. The formula look like very complicated. Like sum of demand I from L to N divided by N. N is number of period in the moving average. DI data in period I. That's one of the common problem. If I show you this first, then you will think that the formula is very complicated. But in fact, it's as simple as what I written here. Okay, so look at the example in the notes. This example, still moving average, still moving average. This example saying that a company called Instant Paper Clip Supply Company want to forecast order for November. So the number here showing the order delivered per month in or by Instant Paper from January up to October. This is the actual order. Actual order. Now the company want to know November. What will be the forecast for November? If one day you join a company, you work as a planning executive, supply chain executive, you most likely you're going to use this type of forecasting methods. So the company want to predict the forecast for November. Why? Why the company need to predict? As explained to you earlier, like the company need to make a decisions by knowing the order. By predicting the order for November, the company can decide how many machines need to prepare, how many men, how many material, right? All right. So the company want to use two methods to develop. One is 3 months, another one is 5 months. So if 3-month moving average, then it should be this 3 lah. This 3. So it's 130 plus 110 plus 90 divided by 3. What you get?
110, doctor.
Sorry?
110.
Okay. So the company also would like to forecast using 5-month moving average. If 5-month moving average means here. Okay, 5 months. So it's equal to 50 plus 75, 130 plus 110 plus 90 divided by
5.
berapa?
91. 91.
Sorry?
91.
91, tengok betul tak? Correct.
Yeah.
So these are the two
Very simple,
predictions.
doctor.
So you see, so November, if using 3-month moving average is 110, and then 5-month moving 91. Before I continue discuss moving average, I just want to ask for your opinion. Do you think that this method is powerful, useful? Do you try this method? You try this method?
Not so, doctor.
Not sure.
Not sure.
Heather, do you try this method? Too simple. Boleh harap ke method ini?
Stock they actually use this, right?
Sorry?
some stock they actually forecast using this method.
So do you try this method? What do you think this method? Do you think okay? This method
Too easy.
too
Maybe it's
easy.
not
Okay.
favorite.
Zafira, what do you think about this method? You
Lah,
percaya tak method ni?
tak kot.
Tak. Daniel, do you think this method okay? Don't know, huh? Oh. In life, like, benda yang paling senang is the best. Okay? This method you have to trust. You know why? You see, do you know what graph is it? What chart is it? Siapa yang tak pernah anyone will this the first time that you see this chart?
No, dokter.
Tak pernah tengok chart ini?
Pernah tengok.
Pernah? Ini chart apa?
Cases.
Yalah,
Pandemic cases.
cases. This is the daily COVID-19 cases in Malaysia, right? Then Dr. Noh Hisham every day release a similar format of chart to reflect how serious we are, right? And then if you look into the detail of this chart, definitely the chart I download or I copy before Raya, 12 of May, not the letter, but it's the same. If you look at yesterday one, you're also using the same format, same factor. The black color here is a prediction line. Every day, KKM will predict what will be the case for the subsequent day. And the method that KKM use is this.
Oh.
7-day moving average. The simple method is the best. You see? So the prediction, one of the methods of prediction used by KKM to predict the daily COVID-19 cases in Malaysia is one of the methods is using 7-day moving average. Any one of you, your friend or your parent work in KKM? No, if yes, perhaps you can tell them lah. Ini salah lah. 7-day must have S lah. Dia tak letak S kan. Alright, but that the other point. Okay, so you see the method we learn, we use 3-day, 5-day. Tapi mengapa yang Tan Sri Dr. Noh Hisham pilih 7-day? Dah agak-agak mengapa 7-day? Why they pick 7-day? 7-day equal to?
One way.
7-day equal to what?
One
One
way.
week exactly lah, betul lah. Sorry. 1 week. So that is the logic behind lah. Satu minggu, satu cycle kan. So they predict using 7-day moving average. So you see, this method is applied, is used widely. In my previous lecture before pandemic COVID-19, I use industry example, which is I think difficult for you to understand. But I think this example is better for you to convince you that in fact this method, even though more of you will think that very easy, very simple, but proven is a very widely used method. Okay. All right. But what you can see from here is the chart drawing a black color line. But what we have done earlier on is we only predict one point. We are not able to draw the line. So drawing the line of prediction is important because without drawing this line, next week you're not able to calculate the accuracy. Therefore, we need to continue calculate. Besides calculate the forecast for November, kita dah answer soalan ini lah. Soalan ini dia nak tahu November itu forecast berapa. Kita dah answer dia macam ni. Kalau November kalau guna 3 bulan, moving average 110. Kalau 5 month 91. Tetapi untuk hari ini dah cukup. Tetapi when come to next week, we want to calculate accuracy. This single data here, we are not able to calculate accuracy. You have to calculate. You have to generate the forecast for the rest of the month. In order for you to plot something like this, a line, nanti baru kita boleh calculate accuracy. So in order to plot this line, then we have to continue calculate the forecast for the previous month. Tapi dia tak susah. Example, if October, I want to calculate forecast October, 3 months, then I total up this 3. 3 ini total divided by 3, then I will get the forecast here, 105. Same thing if 5 months, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So total 5 ini, then divide by 5, I will get this number. Okay. Faham apa yang saya cakap? Faham?
Faham, Doktor.
Faham lah? Okay, good. Kalau tak faham, stop saya lah.
Okay,
Then if I
Doktor.
continue calculate this, you will discover kan? You will discover sebenarnya you can calculate but sampai April you tak dapat lah. Why? Because this is 3-month moving average. 3-month moving average, you need to use 3-month data lah. So the first forecast that you can predict is month number 4. Maka month number 4 sebab 3-month moving average perlu data 1, data 2, data 3 untuk predict bulan yang keempat. Therefore, there will be no forecasting for the first 3 months if you are using 3-month moving average. You are using 5-month moving average, there will be no forecasting data for the first 5 months. Why? Because you need to make use of 5-month data to predict the subsequent order for the subsequent months order. Okay, so this is something I need to take note lah. Okay, so we are calculating this from here to there. Okay, done. So moving average done. And if we plot, because saya dah kira kan, because I calculated the moving average forecast from April to November and 3 months and 5 months moving average from June to November, so I can plot the chart now. So this is the 3 line that we can plot, the 5-month moving average and the 3 months, and this is the actual. And then from there, we're going to apply this in next week to calculate accuracy. However, okay, moving average faham. Okay, ya.
Okay,
So,
Doktor.
sama ada nak pilih 3 bulan, 5 bulan ini, you have to try and error, do experiments, and we have to calculate, we have to justify by accuracy. Okay. But moving average ada satu masalah, which is does not react well to changes. Apa maksud dia? Okay, we look at this. We look at this. This is I zoom into a particular data of the KKM's COVID-19 daily cases chart. I zoom into particular data. Example, if I want to predict the cases on 17th of April. Example, today is 16th of April. I want to predict the number of COVID-19 cases in Malaysia on 17th of April based on the method that applied by KKM. I should use 7 data because 7-day moving average. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. All right. There's one thing that you can notice from here, no? 7 here. There's one thing that you can notice from here. I want to predict 17th April. The last few days, beberapa hari sebelum 17 April, beberapa hari sebelum ini, kita dah boleh nampak trend increase kan? Am I right? Increasing, correct?
Yes, increase.
But when we predict, we still predict lower than, even though we know that the trend is increasing. If using moving average is not sensitive to the change of the trend or not sensitive to the recent data. Sebab dia ada ambil kira data yang ni kan rendah. Sebab moving average, dia ambil view all the data equally. Dia assume all the data are equal, then average up. End up that moving average is not sensitive to the latest or recent data. Walaupun beberapa hari lepas, trend dia increase, tetapi moving average masih predict is a lower number. So this is the disadvantage or weakness of the moving average. So to overcome this, there are two methods we can use. One is the second method that we're going to talk about that, and also the third method that we're going to talk about that. Okay. So what's the second method? The second method is called weighted moving average. What weighted moving average means? Tadi kan dekat moving average, I view all the 7 days equally. If I want to change to weighted moving average, I will view the recent data heavier weight than the rest of the month. Maksudnya, mungkin ini bila saya nak kira average, saya ambil 50% daripada data yang terdekat. Mungkin yang ini 30%. Dan yang ini mungkin 10%, mungkin ini 3%, ini 1%, and blah, blah, blah. So now I'm not viewing the data equally. Data yang closer to me, the recent month, I view with higher weight. Okay, example. This is a formula again lah. This formula is menakutkan lah. We look at the example. Same example. Instant paper sama, tetapi kali ini instead of using moving average, Instant Paper Click supply company decided to use the second method, weighted moving average. Okay, weighted moving average tak ada explanation ada. Weighted moving average is assigned to the most recent data the higher weight. Means that Instant Paper Click dia nak predict order for month of November, tetapi still is the 3-month moving average, still is a 3-month, tetapi dia tak nak view tiga-tiga data ni equally. Dia akan ambil 50% daripada Oktober. Dan dia akan ambil 33% daripada data September and 17% daripada data August. Kalau tiga-tiga ini campurkan, total will be 100 lah. It must be 100. If total must be 100, must be 100. Okay. So now, by saying so, then I can calculate the weighted moving average untuk 3 bulan is equal to, this is 50, right? So it's equal to, right here, 0.5, so 50, 90, plus 0.33, 110, plus 0.17, 130. Okay, so now you can see higher weight, ini yang kita panggil weight. Higher weight is given to the recent month. Recent month maksudnya bulan yang dekat sekali dengan November, which is October. October I give a higher rate, higher weight. Then followed by September and followed by August. So you calculate this, what you will get? What you will get? Anyone?
103.4.
103.4
103.4.
lah. So this method basically is take into consideration the recent trend. So which is maybe KKM should consider this. They have considered, I will tell you later, they have considered, but they are not using this method, they use another method. Okay. But untuk weighted moving average, yes, no, yes. Okay, now 103.4 is correct. Okay. Again, the question in forecasting always is how are you going to decide 0.5? How are you going to decide 0.33? How are you going to decide 0.17? The wording that the words that appear in the notes say that try and error, experimental. But this try and error is not sort of like a layman method of try and error. It's try and error and then you're going to check the accuracy. Which we're going to talk about next week. All right. So far we covered two methods. Moving average. Looks simple, but widely adopted or adapted by the industry, even KKM. And then we also talk about moving average. These two methods, they share a common weakness. What do you think? What are the weaknesses that they share? It's still not the best. Can be improved because what? They share the common method. You see, example here. You see, what are these data? These data are demand. How about these two data? These two data are the forecast. So we try to predict using history data. History data, right? History data. So there are two sets of data here. We have history data that are available at this moment. There are two. One is data that related to the demand for the past few months, data that related to the forecast for the past few months. So by saying so, apa kelemahan moving average and weighted moving average? Apa kelemahan dia? Dua method ini, walaupun tadi saya dah tunjuk, I have show you just now, data yang available sekarang ada dua. One is demand, one is forecast. But these two methods, moving average and weighted moving average, do a forecasting or does a forecasting purely based on demand data. It's a way that if you have data or forecast, why you don't use? These two forecasting methods purely depend on the demand data to do forecasting. Ignore or without taking into consideration the data that the forecast data. Agree?
Agree, Doctor.
Agree, yeah, all right, okay, good. Okay. So that is a weakness. So therefore, to overcome this, we have the third method. Oh, ini dah tambah susah sikit lah. The third method with the name of exponential smoothing. Okay. So exponential smoothing can be in two forms. One is called simple. Simple is the method 3. Then another one, we will talk about method 4 adjusted. So we talk about method 3 first. So exponential smoothing also based on the moving average, weighted moving average concept, weight the result data, but this time, method number 3 not only consider or weight the result data of the demand, also considering the forecast. Okay, and this is the formula. What is this formula about? This formula is saying that if I want to forecast, today is May, okay, I want to forecast order for June is equal to alpha. What is alpha? And demand for May plus 1 minus alpha forecast for May. Oh, this is a formula. So now, the formula take into consideration demand forecast. And with alpha is a weight factor. Means alpha representing or considering or sort of reflects your view in terms of how many percent you want to depend on the demand, how many percent you want to demand on the so-called the forecast. Again, you have to try and error and find the alpha that suits your organization the best. Okay, normally it's from 0 to 0.1 to 0.5, correct? Huh? 0.1 to 0.5. See, you say that 0.1 to 0.5, and that's very subjective. Huh? Why subjective like that? Huh? It's very subjective. Okay. So this is the third method, exponential smoothing. This is the third method, and this method take into consideration demand and forecasting. So the best way is to look at the example. Okay. The problem now is, you remember when we calculate moving average and weighted moving average, you can calculate from month 13, and then you're going up. But now if I try to do this, example, you see I try to do this.
Example.
This is, you have take note of this, this may be slightly difficult to understand. Okay, if I want to predict, now I want to predict or forecast, I want to forecast demand for January. I want to forecast demand for January. Where should I write? Nanti ada apa-apa keluar. Oh, so okay. I write here. If I want to forecast for January, okay, then this is equal to alpha demands of December plus 1 minus alpha forecast of December. Okay. Alpha I know, alpha is 0.3, tak ada masalah. Demand for December, oh, that I know is 54, no problem. Since alpha is 0.3, 1 minus alpha is 0.7. But how about forecast for December? I don't have forecast for December. Like, the forecast for December is not there. Like, betul? Am I right? Agree?
Betul, Doctor. Agree.
Okay, so okay, I have to do forecast. So I cannot calculate. I have to do forecast for December. Then forecast December is equal to alpha demand of November plus 1 minus alpha forecast of November. Okay, then alpha I know, demand for November I know, but again, I do not forecast of November. Am I right? Am I right?
Yes, Doctor.
And then if I continue doing that,
Still
I have the
same.
same problem. I have the same problem.
Mm.
So what's the implication of this? The implication of this is, pada method pertama, method kedua, if you want to do a forecasting, you can straight away predict January berapa. You can predict. Tetapi untuk method yang ketiga dan seterusnya method keempat, you have to start from the top here, bukan daripada sini. You get me?
Yes,
You
Doctor.
cannot do it from here. You cannot do it from here.
Mm.
You have to start from the top. Okay. Understand semua?
Understand, Doctor.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we have to start from the top. Okay. Example, if I start from the top, saya I press, but it's okay lah, memang. If I want to start from the top, okay, January, then where should I write? Okay lah, I write here. Forecast for January is equal to 0.3. Demand for January, demand for December, plus 0.7. Forecast for December. Ada masalah lagi. The data provided is only for this year. Example is 2020. I don't have 2019 December data. I don't have, right? So how are you going to start the first month? You get what I mean? Ini tak ada.
Mm.
Correct, right?
Correct.
Okay. So for method number one, the rule number one that you must remember is tertutup yang dia itu lah. Rule number one is always start from February. Start daripada period yang kedua, the second month. Okay? Because if you try to do for January, you need to know the demand for December, forecast for December. But what is the demand and forecast for December? You don't know. So at the conclusion, rule number one for exponential smoothing is what? Is you have to start from the second month, not the first month. Okay? Clear? Clear?
Clear, Doctor.
Okey, tetapi ada masalah juga. Masalah tak berhenti-henti, banyak masalah. Masalah kedua, now I want to do forecast for, I write here better. I worry that I will be accidentally. I didn't hear you right. Forecast for February is equal to 0.3. Demand for January plus 0.7. Forecast for January. Demand for January ada 40, tak ada masalah. But again, I do not have forecast January. You get me?
Yes, Doctor.
So tadi rule yang pertama ialah start daripada February.
Hmm.
The second rule ialah forecast for January assume equal to demand for January. So these are the two rules that you need to follow when you are doing exponential smoothing. Faham?
Paham,
Then
Doctor.
start, then you follow these two. Means start daripada bulan kedua dan bila nak kira forecast for January assume sama dengan demand for January. By saying so, we can start calculate example yang ini. Because the rule saying that start from February, right? The rule also saying that forecast for January equal to demand for January. So forecast for period number 2 is equal to 0.3. Demand for period number 1, what is that? What is that? 37 plus 0.7. Then this saying that
37.
the forecast for January must be same as demand, 37. So the answer here is 37. Okay, 37. So that is what we get, 37. How about the subsequent month? The subsequent month will be, let me see what will appear next. Okay, I think I'm going to do more than this, then you have better understanding. The method should be like this, 0.3. Then I put blank. Okay, I try to show you a better way of doing this. Blank plus 0.7. Forecast for month of 4 equal to 0.3 plus 0.7. Then forecast for 5. So you can write this way. You can write this way, which is a better way. Untuk setiap bulan, then change color to demand. Okay, now demand for month number 2. What is that? Here, right?
Yeah, 40.
Right. So this is 40. This you can continue copy from here. 40,
41.
41, 37.
37.
And then you will continue 45, blah, blah, blah. You get what I mean?
Yeah, I
You get
get
me?
it. Hmm.
Okay. Then here, 0.7, forecast for month number 2.
40.
Forecast for month number 2 is 37.
37.
So this is
Oh.
37.
37.
Berapa dapat? Berapa dapat?
Wait. 0.
0 cannot be.
37.9.
37.9. Saya tak check, saya assume this betul. Then you pindah this one masuk sini. 37.9. Dapat berapa?
Hold on, Doctor.
Assume ini betul.
38.8.
And then you pindah ini masuk sini. You see, this is the way they calculate. The formula look complicated, but you must find the best way. This is the best way. Okay, apa ini?
38.3.
Okay. So you nampak tak apa yang saya buat? Saya buat ni sebenarnya yang merah itu default. You can do all the merah one, you write all the merah one first. Lepas tu, yang bracket dekat sini, copy daripada demand saja. Copy daripada demand. Tengok betul kan saya copy? 37, 40, 41, 37. Lepas tu bila dah dapat satu forecast 37, masuk kepada the subsequent forecast. Lepas tu dapat yang ni masuk kepada sini, dapat yang ni masuk kepada sini. Ini cara yang paling senang. Tapi kita check tengok increase punya jawapan betul tak? 37.9 betul. You continue calculate that 38.83. Betul? 38.3. Betul lah. Okay. Dia two decimal point. So you continue doing that. Then you'll get all the forecast. So why you have to do that is because as proven just now, like kita tak dapat buat daripada sini. Tak boleh. You have to do it from the top here until you get this. Alright. So if you want to test or want to try, you can try to calculate for the rest. I encourage you to calculate for the rest to familiar yourself with the method. Okay. So this is the third method, exponential smoothing. If we plot this method, so what you can see here basically is as compared to, we plot these two, which is exponential smoothing with alpha 0.3 and 0.5. So you can see that exponential smoothing with alpha 0.5, in fact, compared to the moving average and weighted moving average, is closer to the actual, right? Am I right? Then it's also closer to the actual as compared to alpha 0.3. Okay, so some like this is maybe better, but we don't want to draw any conclusion now until we do the accuracy test next week. We're going to use the same example to calculate the accuracy next week. Yeah? So it's also closer to that. Okay. All right. What is important here? All right. Before I continue, any problem in here? Anything you want to ask? No. Okay. What you observe from here? This chart, exponential smoothing and mana? And this one, what you notice from here? This one and this one. Okay, look at this one like now. I don't need to sort of like keep on click moving forward and back. Okay, what do you notice from here? Compare the actual and the demand. Which is always highest, actual or demand?
Demand.
Huh?
Wait. Actual.
Actual is always higher than demand. Agree, right?
Agree.
Yeah, there are 1-2 points that perhaps the actual is lower or exactly same as demand. But most of the points of the actual demand is higher than the forecast. Why?
I don't know, doctor.
Why you see? See, the daily cases 7-day moving average used by KKM also show that it is not bad lah. It's sort of like prediction, not bad, but the actual cases always is higher than the forecast. Why? We really did something, right? We really use weighted there. We use weighted. Oh, I stop short one. I expect one question from you when I show you this, but nobody asked me. Here, I thought some of you, any question to ask me? I expect you to ask me something like this. Tadi dekat moving average, we use 3 months. At least kita ambil kira data untuk 3 bulan dah untuk predict atau buat forecasting. Tetapi, it sound like for exponential smoothing, in order for us to predict June, kita hanya ambil kira data bulan 5, Mei saja. Kita hanya ambil kira 1 bulan, cukup ke untuk predict? Boleh
Doktor,
percaya ke model ni?
tak boleh, doktor.
Tak boleh. Tetapi mengapa dia masih boleh dipakai? Because kita dah buat tadi. Kita dah buat tadi. Dengan begitu leceh sekali kita buat. Macam mana apa kita buat?
Oh, the
Kita dah buat
forecast.
ini kan?
Yeah.
Kita dah kira daripada February ke March, March ke April, April ke May, May ke June. Kita dah kira one by one. So in fact, indirectly, when you want to predict order untuk January, sebenarnya you dah ambil kira daripada January, daripada February, March. You dah ambil kira semua bulan dah. Baru you boleh dapat kira yang January. Dia bukan ambil kira 1 bulan, dia ambil kira semua bulan sebenarnya. You get me, eh? You get me?
Yes, doktor, I get it.
Okay. Alright, balik kepada cerita yang ni. Why yang mengapa yang actual cases kan yang baca ini, mengapa lebih tinggi daripada forecast or prediction walaupun kita dah guna weighted method. Mengapa? Ada satu benda yang ada satu elemen, komponen dekat forecasting yang begitu penting tetapi tidak ambil kira dekat method 1, 2, 3. Oh, international student sometimes I've forgotten lah. So we had this one factors or one element that we didn't take into consideration in the first 3 methods. What are the elements?
The R. The slope.
Why those that I circle why contribute to a higher cases? Why? Mengapa ini lebih tinggi? Why this are higher than the normal day? Because if you have calendar, look at the calendar. These are either Saturday or Sunday, weekend. So means we take consideration of weather, but there's still one element that we still did not take into consideration is with the name of apa? Tinggal
Trend.
satu saja.
Trend.
Train, correct. This train that very subjective that we not take into consideration. We didn't consider there's a trend in the prediction, is it? We didn't consider that. We always assume that smoothing average. Therefore, for this type of prediction, for a data that come along with a trend, example, daily COVID-19 cases in Malaysia, this data is proven, clearly show that there is trend. The cases at weekend fundamentally or basically is higher than a normal day. So we call it a trend. Marker, we need to have another method that take into consideration this trend. And this method is called method number 4, adjusted exponential smoothing with this formula. AF representing adjusted forecast. What is FT1I? FT1I is the one that you learn in method 3. Your method 3. This is your method 3, the one that we did just now. This one. We did this one. On top of what we have done just now, this formula add in another factor that we call it as trend adjustment factor. Trend adjustment factor, it adjusts the trend. And this is a formula. The the ft plus 1, I'm not going to discuss further because this is something you learn in method 3. Yeah? So we add in a t. T is called trend factor. And this trend factor is equal to, means if I want to find trend for June, is equal to beta, another constant, forecast for June minus forecast for May plus 1 minus beta trend for May. So this is the formula. And beta is a smoothing constant from trend. And trend is very, very subjective. Therefore, identifying beta is very difficult. Why I say trend is very subjective? But before I continue, you understand, method yang keempat is what you have done in method yang ketiga plus a trend factor. Mengapa trend factor? Example untuk KKM. Dia ada trend yang weekend. But trend bukan saja trend yang kita nampak dekat data COVID-19 daily cases. Dia very subjective. Why subjective? Is because why subjective? Trend ada banyak cases, ada banyak jenis. Dia boleh trend dari segi random movement. Kita pun tak tahu, tiba-tiba naik, tiba-tiba turun. This is a trend. It could be a trend in terms of cycle. Cycle means Monday dia naik sampai Wednesday dia turun. Cycle, it can be trend of like tiba-tiba peak. This is sort of like seasonal. Seasonal, it could be sort of like weekday and weekend. Then it could be trend with seasonal. The other seasonal dan the other trend. Dia naik tepi. Okay, so KKM1 or the daily COVID-19 is sort of like something like this. But what I'm trying to tell you is the beta, identify beta, no doubt is also beta is also using trial and error. Tetapi beta ini is more complicated than alpha sebab trend ada banyak jenis. Okay, so this is the explanation of the trend untuk your information. So do you ever come across this chart?
Yes, doctor.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
So this is the second forecasting method that used by KKM. What is the name of this method? They call it SEIR, but it doesn't sound very nice. So I rather call it the SEIR. SEIR model. What is SEIR model? SEIR model is based on the method number 4, adjusted exponential smoothing. By adding a trend method, adding a trend factor. So by adding a trend factor, you see, the prediction now is closer to the actual. The viewpoint that in fact is on the same as the actual. Okay, so but how is this model? This model is developed by, in fact, by China, where they had pandemic of this COVID last year. A group of researchers, so many, a group of researchers work up this SEIR model that basically is the adjusted exponential smoothing and using a mathematical model that calculate the beta. This is the beta. These are the beta that they calculated. These are beta based on the cases that accumulated in China. Then based on the data arrival, they calculate this. If you're interested, you can look into this article. This article very lengthy. I just snapshot or I just cut a few important information here. The name of the model, who developed in where in China last year, and they're using our method, adjusted exponential smoothing, and then the beta, they're using mathematical model to work out the beta. That's why, because beta is very subjective. You can't just simply put 1, 0, 1, 0, 2. So they calculate this beta and end up that with this model. And this model, you can see that predicting the daily COVID-19 cases in Malaysia using SEIR, which is adjusted exponential smoothing based prediction model, is more I don't say accurate. Accurate, I can't judge from that. I would say it's closer to the actual cases. Do you agree? Actual is closer, right? Do you agree it's closer, right?
Yeah, closer.
Compared to the mean area.
Yeah.
So this method is very we can generally say that it's more accurate lah, and then reflect. I would say reflect the actual scenario. Reflect the actual scenario. So it's good or bad?
Good, doctor.
It's good or bad?
Good.
Good. No, it's so bad. It's so bad. You see, means if this is continue happening,
Mm.
then by end of the month, we're going to hit 8,000 to 9,000. You see.
Oh.
What is R? What is R?
Ah.
Come on, you learn R from me doing our business statistic multiple regression. R
Oh.
square R.
The
So
accuracy.
they call it R naught lah. They don't call it R square. They call it R naught. If 1.2, then this is the trend. If this is the trend, means as per yesterday, I think a few states. I think Terengganu, Perak. I think a few negeri hit 1.2. No.
Mm.
The average number of this Arnold emulation now is I think 1.08. So the prediction model is good, but the data indicated that it's bad. Okay, so please stay at home. Comply to the SOP. If not necessarily, don't go out. So like me, I never back to my office for a year plus. Okay,
Mm.
so don't go out. Stay at home. If not, if this is come true, then it's not good news for us. We are in the risk. Okay.
Mm.
So the prediction model is good, but the data is, I do say bad. It's alert. It needs to be alert that the dangerous of this data, and you must put efforts to make sure that the prediction will be wrong by stay at home, by comply to the SOP. Everyone, it's very important. So you only learn today, and then this is the fourth method. Means this is the most accurate method. The most accurate method. The data show that, very worried. In fact, very worried. Everyone very worried. Okay. Now, this is how they derive the beta. So now look at the same thing. We use the same data. It's the same problem that we face study. If I try to calculate against adjusted exponential smoothing is equal to exponential smoothing, ini yang you dah kira dekat method 3 plus a new factor called trend. In order to calculate trend, you can't start from period number 13. Why? Because if I start from period number 13, what I will do is, if example I want to predict for February, then it's beta for forecast for
February.
Plus minus
January.
forecast for January, then plus 1 minus beta trend for
February. January.
January. I don't have trend from January.
Mm.
So if I want to calculate trend from January, I have to know the trend for December. If I want to calculate trend for December, I need to find out trend for November. Faham kan? Sama dengan tadi kan?
Yeah.
So because of that, it's the same thing. You can't go from the latest period, you have to go from the first one. And tadi kita dah discuss. Tadi method ketiga kita dah discuss dua rule. Rule number 1 ialah kita kata because of that, start from period number 2. Not necessarily February lah. Depend on data. In this case, it's February. For the rest of case, it's start daripada period number 2. Then, rule yang kedua yang kita discuss tadi ialah forecast for January equal to demand for January. Okay. Example, now I want to start from February. Then February equal to use beta 0.3. 0.3, here, right? 0.3. Beta 0.3. Then forecast for February minus forecast for January. Then plus 0.7 trend for January. Okay, forecast for February ada dekat sini 37. Okay, forecast for January ada. But trend from January tak ada. Am I right?
Yes,
So
doctor.
now I want to calculate trend from January, I need to know December. So tak, no ending, the problem no ending. Therefore, untuk method keempat, there are third assumptions that you need, or third rule that you need to follow, whereby on top of start from February, on top of forecast for January sama dengan demand for January, there's another rule that you need to follow, which is the trend from January assume equal to
0.
0. Yeah, so by doing that, you can start calculate. Example here,
Doctor, I
trend
have question.
for
For the T for
February
January,
is
if we
equal
have
to
data, example,
0.7,
this
tadi
is,
saya dah tulis. Forecast for February is equal to 37 minus 37, then 0.7. Trend from January, we say equal to 0. So it's equal to 0.
yeah, 0, doctor.
But I rewrite 0, so it's equal to 0. So this is not the end, this is only the trend.
Yeah.
So forecast is equal to 37
37
plus 0,
plus 0.
37. So you get that. Huh? Yeah. Trend is equal to 0. Forecast is 37. I do one more. I do this example. Here is equal to 0.3. Forecast for month number 3 of March is 38.5 minus 37 plus 0.7. Trend for month number 2, which is equal to 0. So what you get for this?
Hold on, doctor.
Nobody do that.
0.45.
So here equal to 38.5 plus 0.45. Okay, equal to 38.95, is it?
Yes, doctor.
Oh, ada lagi ya? Okay, one more. Okay. I thought I only had 2 examples. Never mind, since it's there, then we calculate. 0.3. I thought normally I only show 2 examples. So it's 39.75 minus 38.5. Then plus 0.7. The change is 0.45. Dapat berapa?
Zero 0.69.
So here is equal to 39.75 plus 0.69 equal to
40.44.
so if you continue doing that, then you'll get this number. You'll get this number. You'll get this number. You can try yourself. Then now you have plots. Who you see? Compare exponential smoothing alpha 0.5 with adjusted forecasting with beta 0.3. Oh, the data now. The forecasting now, you see, is closer to the demand. Am I right?
Yeah.
Because you already adjusted the data with the trade. So this is the one that's exactly applied by KKM this moment lah. Not only KKM, this is a method, SEII is a method that widely used by most of the country, which is believed that is one of the best model to predict daily COVID-19 cases lah. All right. By saying so, we've done all the 4 methods. Then, okay, more reflective or general increase trend. When there's a trend, if the data has no trend, then this is not the best method. So there are 2 tutorials I need to do, Q2 and Q6. So you're going to do, yeah, okay, correct. So in next week, we're going to talk about accuracy. So we're going to use the same tutorial. This week, you're going to develop the forecasting model for tutorial 2 and 6. And next week, you're going to calculate the accuracy of these 2 forecasting models. Okay, stop recording. Alright, so okay. Pukul berapa? Oh, there are things that we want to discuss. So accuracy, kita discuss next week, and then we'll continue accuracy. Ada soalan tak untuk yang ni? Ada soalan tak untuk yang apa dia? Forecasting. Sebelum saya discuss yang sebelum saya discuss yang ni. Ada?
Belum.
Tak ada.
Tak ada soalan, doktor.
Tak ada soalan, okay. Now, ini dah siap kan? Now, okay, test 2. Test 2, saya cadangkan. Sebenarnya saya bukan sebenarnya ini cadangan yang pada section 1. Initially, I thought we want to do it on Sunday, but I think they can't make it. So, the discussion with section 1, we suggest to have our test on 22nd May, which is Saturday. Saturday pukul 2 petang. Ada siapa yang tak boleh? Kalau tak boleh, let me know now. Jangan nanti WhatsApp pada saya kan. Let me know now.
Saturday,
Ada?
doktor.
Saturday, boleh tak? Pukul 2 Saturday.
Saturday pukul 2. Boleh, doktor.
Ada siapa yang tak boleh? 1, 2, 3. Tak ada?
Tak ada, doktor.
Okey. Dia hanya ada 2 soalan. Soalan pertama itu ialah yang sensitivity untuk mix product. Okay, you have to calculate sensitivity lah. Tapi jangan harap nanti soalan ni boleh key in kepada Q&A window boleh dapat sensitivity. Taklah, sebab saya dah familiar dengan Q&A window. Soalan yang saya kasih itu, tak ada peluang boleh key in kepada Q&A window lah, you have to calculate lah. Dia hanya require you to calculate the sensitivity range for one of that, either it's objective function or the constraint. You have to kira that lah. Soalan pertama dia sensitivity bukan transportation sensitivity untuk mix product mix product. Then I will give you the solution. Lepas tu from there you calculate the sensitivity lah. But there's certain information I change to make sure that you tak dapat key in yang linear programming itu ke dalam Q&A window. Kalau tak senang kan, you key in saja dekat Q&A window, dapat. Okay. Alright. So that's soalan pertama. Soalan kedua ialah assignment problem. Di mana kita akan discuss tutorial assignment model esok kan? Tomorrow kan?
Yeah, tomorrow.
Okay, so itu the script is quite similar to tutorial lah. Tapi mungkin langkah dia panjang sikit itu saja. So 2 soalan saja. 2 soalan
Alright.
So if you want to ask more detail tomorrow we still have time to discuss So ini kita dah discuss kan test 2. Last kali yang terakhir saya tanya ada siapa yang tak boleh tak? 22 hari bulan Mei, maksudnya Sabtu minggu ini pukul 2. Lama 22 hari bulan pukul 2. Bagus Alright. Okay
Okay, doktor.
Okay, next. Sorry, ada soalan apa? Saya nampak macam ada soalan apa? berapa jam untuk test. Hari tu kita ada berapa jam? Hari tu 1 jam. Hari tu saya kasih 1 jam 15 minit, tetapi ada 15 minit untuk download, 15 minit untuk upload. End up lebih kurang 1 jam 45 lah, is it? Hari tu?
Yeah.
Dia sama lah, dia sama. Kalau you dapat officially put in on the paper, I put 1 hour 50 minutes lah. Tetapi kalau the part you dah download, you start lah. Start awam tak apa. Lepas tu dia scan, mungkin you didn't spend 50 minutes lah. Okay lah. So that is that. Ada soalan lain untuk yang berapa jam? Tak jadi next week. Ya, gila. Apa maksudnya tak jadi next week?
Tak kiranya yang first nak buat next week tu tak jadilah
Next week mula-mula saya nak buat next week tu maksudnya Sunday lah, tapi tak jadilah. Okay. Sebab yang section 1 dia tak boleh. Okay, so yang ini apa saya nak discuss lah. Teks dia kecil sangat lah. Oh, okay, I remember now. It's based on my plan lah. It's based on my plan. Basically, I think we can finish our module. Nanti ya, saya kenapa saya buat kecil teks. Okay. We're going to have our test on Saturday. Next week we're going to talk about accuracy. Accuracy itu tak sampai 1 jam, dia sekejap saja. So my thought is, my plan is saya akan buat accuracy dengan yang decision analysis next week. And this one. And this one. So basically, decision analysis ini dia apa? Dia pun tak susah. Then subsequently, I'm going to do queuing dekat week yang 2nd June. Dia pun tak berapa panjang ini. So kalau ikut yang plan saya sebenarnya on week 12 ini kita dah boleh cover semua. So subsequent week there'll be no formal class. Then you can do your project, can do your individual assignment, and then those that doing PSN. This is the main reason. Initially ini bukan yang first kan, daripada minggu pertama saya dah plan yang tu, saya dah habis awal. Because I know from you all lah, you still need to do your PSN, need to do your project lah. So in short, I think I can finish a week. Tetapi bila saya plan, saya perasan something. Saya perasan next Wednesday sebenarnya public holiday. But then I want to get your agreement lah. Is it alright that you continue next Wednesday? 8 to 10? Tak ada reply, masih okay lah. Okay kan?
Okay.
Ini semua dekat rumah kan. Holiday tak holiday sambil saja lah. Padahal saya dah work from home sampai gila lah. Boring work from home. So kita on lah. Wednesday kita, I think it's Wesak Day lah. I celebrating Wesak Day, you know. But normally Wesak Day we go to temple. But for last year and this year tak boleh kan. So for me, tak ada masalah lah. For me it's okay lah. 8 to 10 lah. So okay.
Okay.
We continue. We run our class as per usual.
Alright.
Agree? Okay. On second one. Okay. So that's what I want to do. So we can finish early. On week 12. Then subsequent bukan saja bye-bye lah. Bukan saja darah bye-bye. Bukan. Maksudnya anytime you need to meet online to discuss project or any topic, we arrange. Okay. No problem. No problem.
Alright, Doktor.
Satu benda yang terlupa tadi patut sebut awal sangat. Lepas semester break ini kita discuss forecasting, queuing theory dengan decision analysis kan. Tiga-tiga ni tanya dekat final
Oh.
Transportation pun tanya dekat final. Okay soalan dah siap lah saya. So tiga-tiga ni sure lah sebab tak apa, kita discuss dekat minggu ke-12 lah.
Yeah.
Memang sure, kalau tak tanya nak tanya bila, dah tak ada kan. Test 2 tak tanya, test 1 tak tanya kan. Transportation kita pun tak tanya dekat test 2, kita nanti tanya dekat final. Okay, dan forecasting, queuing theory dengan decision analysis pun dekat final. Dan yang QM window output itu pun tanya dekat final lah. Okay ya. Alright. Tapi itu tak apa, kita discuss kemudian. So okay, now let's go to attendance. Ada soalan tak sebelum kita ambil attendance?
Tak ada.
Project
Project.
ada masalah? Ada apa nak tanya?
Project.
Tak ada.
Belum ada.
Tak ada itu sebab apa? Sebab faham atau sebab belum start?
Belum start.
Alamak. Alamak. Kri, you tak balik raya sampai belum start. You dekat hostel kan. Must start lah. I
Yeah.
share the what is that? Attender.
Thank you.
Mana? Academic. Okay. Section 2. What else? Myself so busy. Need to arrange internship. Need to arrange final exam paper. Need to check every lecturer final exam paper for my panel. Like busy also. Okay lah, kalau tak ada soalan, then kita jumpa lagi tomorrow. We're going to discuss the tutorial for transportation. Window and also tutorial for assignment. Okay, assignment itu will be asked in will be assessed or will be asked in your test tool. Okay,
Okay,
Alright.
Doctor.
thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thanks.